It's a special session of the Delaware County Board of Supervisors as we are going over the budget. And we are recommencing with Barbara Lopez, Treasurer, Tax Collector.
Hello. I'm ready for you.
Let's begin with your Treasurer 123 budget. Any questions from the board?
I just was hoping that you could kind of break down, just like Alicia just did, the difference. I mean, there's three different distinct functions within your office.
Right.
So can you kind of break that
Sure.
down?
Yeah. We're an office of three departments. We have Treasury, Tax Collector, and County Collections. So the treasurer is, I like to say, we're the banker of the county. We do all the banking needs for the county general fund, non-general fund accounts, special districts, school districts. I'm also the chief investment officer of the county, managing a $150 million portfolio. So that's its own animal right there. We're also the tax collector. So obviously we're collecting all the secured, unsecured, supplementals, delinquent property taxes. We do all the TOT collection and cannabis tax, which we don't have any right now. And then county collections is definitely a smaller department, but we bill and collect mainly right now restitution to victims. We also collect some county fees. We'll do dog license, parking citations, and some NSF cases periodically. But we also, I like to call ourselves in that department our revenue recovery department. That's where we do a lot of our unsecured collections, specialized collections, seizures and sales and such is under that umbrella as well.
Great. So is there any shifts that you can foresee in the future? I mean, in your crystal ball, right? That we should be aware of in your funding priorities for either any of those three?
That's sort of an open question. You know, with my three departments, the treasurer is based on just the banking needs, right? So that I would say no. But as far as the investments go, if we are in a bad market, interest rates go down, everyone's going to see my investments go down and my interests go down. So that could be an issue, which we've all been there before. And then as far as the tax collection goes, I would say we're mandated to collect taxes, right? So if there's a major shift or any kind of recession or major property tax, evaluation, that might affect everyone's budgets. But we're mandated, we have to do what we have to do as far as collection goes. We don't have any realignment funds that could not get collected or state could not pass on to us. So
it's a good question though, Barbara, and I want you to expand on that some as it relates to TOT revenue.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you saw the budget, but this year last year 23-24 budget came in at $925,000, the highest we've had. And I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked to see how much money we had come in for TOT. Every year I feel like I budget low, but I am surprised at how much we're getting. I mean, at some point we're going to have to flatline that. We're going to have so many short-term rentals in our market that we might, not see that big of a revenue source. Or if there's a complete ordinance change and we don't want to have TOT anymore, there's going to be an issue there. But we're definitely a great tourist destination, and I would love to see it continue to grow, but I don't have a crystal ball, kind of like what Elisa said.
You don't have a crystal ball, but the board does. The board has this
Very
in their
true.
camp, so again, it's a good question to ask.
Yeah.
With that though, can you explain why that TOT stays within your budget and doesn't go to miscellaneous revenue and expenses?
I think it's just a matter of when we're doing the budget, I'm working on all the figures that I have ownership on, if in a sense. Mm-hmm. I know that program, I know how much money's coming in. It doesn't mean I can't jump into the 101 miscellaneous revenue and input that info. It's always just been in the tax collector's budget. We're general fund, right? So we're all in a big pot together. I don't say that $925,000 is mine by any means.
No, and I knew that. I was just,
Okay.
I was curious
It's
because
just
all the taxes go to the 101.
Yeah.
This didn't, so I was just wondering when it was developed back if it was just set up that way.
I think it was just set up that way. I mean, I've been doing the budget this is my 20th budget cycle. I've been with office for 25 years, and it's always been in that budget.
But it still ends up in general fund revenue.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Well, obviously,
Yeah.
I mean, so I was just, like I said, I was just
Yeah,
curious
definitely.
because some goes there, some doesn't.
So just to give you a baseline on that, because that's an important statement she made, the $900,000+ in 2005, it was less than 200. And so
Correct.
now it does make up a significant portion of our general fund revenue.
It does, yeah.
So 2005 is when we started.
2005. Sorry, 2005 is when we started lobbying the Board of Supervisors for TOT revenue to be invested.
Oh, invested. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Couple of questions with regard to postage. You have this as an expense, but do you use IT services? And if you use IT services, why wouldn't it be an intrafund?
So it's metered mail. So the way IT works is we'll let them know, like, these are all of the tax collector bills, meter it, and we allocate that department, and it gets billed to us directly. So any postage we have every month that's metered through IT is directly charged to my account.
Okay, I at some point I need a tutorial on interfund cost plans and all that kind of stuff, because I'm just confused why some makes it into a cost plan, some doesn't.
It's not a service, it's a charge.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, like a federal
You
postage
have
charge.
the HVAC. It was budgeted last year, not completed. Can you give us some reasons, obstacles that were in the place for that?
There wasn't any obstacles. I'll say that I probably didn't understand the process as much as I should have. We did just get the most recent charge of what it was going to be. It was later in the fiscal year, and I know at the end of our fiscal years we don't like to do major asset purchases, so I just kind of held off. They threw it into my 24-25 budget. So now that I have a price, we'll get that started and have to go through the whole purchase order process. And I didn't realize that a lot of that was on my shoulders to do, so it was just sort of a lack of knowledge on my part.
Yeah, I mean, I was just curious because HVAC systems within departments are very important. So I was just wondering if there was.
This was mainly just our office gets really hot and really cold.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You can bundle up, but
We
it's hard
can.
to get cold or, to.
Yeah, exactly.
So with that, going back, I know I'm kind of bouncing here, but do you see any of the revenues from the actual property taxes, or is it just one of those general fund things that just happens to go there?
Yeah, property taxes themselves are in the 101-100 budget, but I have revenue in my line that's delinquent fees that I collect for delinquent taxes and cost fees, so that's directly mine to help offset salaries and such, but the actual tax itself, that's allocated to general fund is in 101-100.
You kind of touched upon this, but do you have any concerns about changes in revenue over the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, I kind of.
I mean, I know that.
Yeah, it's sort of the same answer. I mean, if there was a major overhaul of the revenue and taxation code and we don't collect taxes anymore, heck yeah, there's going to be some issues. But we were in a major recession at one point, and our tax, not sales tax, I don't deal with that, but property taxes were pretty standardized. TOT a little bit less during the recession time, but nothing that was so out of the norm that it caused issues for at least my office.
Okay.
Yeah.
You say for county collections, they're collecting like restitution and different things like that. Does your department receive any percentages of that, or is it all just being distributed to?
Yeah, 100% of the restitution ordered goes to the victim.
Perfect.
We don't get any of that.
But so I guess I always thought county collections was more of like those delinquent people that weren't paying their fines and fees.
So back in the day, yes. I think Lonnie touched on this too. All the public defender fees, superior court fines, a lot of that stuff has been now considered uncollectible. So we've had to. I never wrote it off. I just have it in a pot that I can't collect. I'm hoping eventually we'll be able to collect it at some point again. Probably not, but and that's where we could get some of those admin fees added, but not for restitution.
Okay. Yeah, that was a shame. Right?
It was really.
I mean, that's a huge loss.
It is.
But
yeah.
But you don't collect court fees of any kind. That would all go through the court.
Not any longer, no.
Okay.
As of 2000, it went back to the courts.
Okay. You have line 90301, which is the treasurer cost. What does that, how does that originate?
So that is my time study, my time for investments. And before the investment apportionment process, there's a percentage that comes off the top that gets directly put into my treasurer's budget. I keep it as low as possible. I want everyone to be able to get their revenue for interest. So, but it is all time study and it's directly related to my time investing.
I have a question on here about the cost plan, but I'm going to skip it because unless you can answer it, because I guess how do you? I understand the auditor's office gives you whatever your cost plan was for 2 years ago. How does that work for you? I mean, you just are how do you know that it's going to be coming up? Do you guys get notice that, you know what, you guys had a really expensive 2020 and so?
Yeah, it's such a convoluted calculation. I just know that I'm a service department and I provide services for general fund and non-general fund departments. It's based on the costs to run my department. And then again, 2 years prior to that, I'm looking at Glenn. So sometimes I'll look at it and say, this looks a little low. I'm trying to think back what happened a couple years ago. What was, did we have less staff? Did we have lower expenses? But yeah, it's I don't have a.
It's a very complicated beast. But how many tax bills did you guys send out?
All right, I have my stats here. Pardon? Let's see. We did. So lots of different categories. Secured taxes. We do our annual, our corrected, and our late bills. A total of 18,124 bills. Unsecured 2,407. Secured defaulted and liens 1,114, supplementals 1,283, liens 544. So total notices of all those were 23,472. And we hand fold and stuff and mail them ourselves.
Okay, so
I'm a staff
perhaps
of
we can
4.
get one of those machines that fold, or?
I'm sorry, I have a folder.
Oh, okay. I don't want
I'm
to
the
take away your
stuffer.
joy. That's fine.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, I get it. I mean, if you know Barbara, you know that she likes to do all that detailed work. But
Well, it's expensive. We outsourced it for years, and taxpayers would see, a postage mark from Stockton, and they did not like that. And I was spending thousands of dollars in professional services where my office could do it. We put on music and just, it's what we do in the fall.
okay, if you like it.
And there's a lot less errors, I will say, when we do it ourselves.
Really? That's interesting.
That's why I stopped doing it, outsourcing. Yeah.
I think do you have any specific goals for any of these departments for the next year?
My main goal right now is just talking to the auditor is our ERP system. I mean, that's coming up. We have to get that on board. It's a huge undertaking for our office. It's going to probably require me to update some of my old legacy programs that IT provided for us. So you might see some of those come through later on. So hopefully I'll keep my budget, make sure that if we have to do any new systems that we're losing, that they're not super expensive. But I know like our TOT system will probably lose, collections will probably lose. I might need to get a small investment program that will lose.
What do you mean lose? I mean,
Because IT is amazing and they created some great in-house programs, but this financial program that we're getting is not going to be compatible. And some of the modules that I need, they don't provide. So I'm going to have to look kind of and see what I can get that's going to connect with that.
okay.
Yeah.
And your office is very instrumental in the new program as well?
100%, yeah. I
Okay.
would say between the auditor and myself are the two main offices that are putting this project together. And IT, I want to make sure that they get that. They're huge too.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
Dan's probably watching, so
I know.
glad you added
Text
that.
me, yell at me.
That's all I have. I do want to tell you I do appreciate all the work that you do.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Any other questions from the board?
My question was largely answered with the HVAC system. I didn't understand that. I was thinking that it should have been kind of a building split up kind of HVAC
Right.
system. Didn't realize it was specific to your office, so that.
Yeah, we have
now
a
I
lot
understand. It
of
was like,
a lot of
how
windows.
come
Yeah.
Barbara is the only one that's paying for an HVAC system? So, I appreciate that.
Sure.
But that was all I had. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any public comment? Seeing none, thank you very
You're
much,
welcome.
Ms. Lopez. And we will take another break for 15